Bring that.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
McCaffrey's gonna score.
He gets picked off by Hufanga.
Fred Warner with the INT. George Kittle.
That's a sackaroonie, baby.
Ball is out. It is picked up. Run back the other way.
Welcome back, 49ers faithful, to the Gold Rush podcast. I am your host, Javen Tagar, and we are just a day out from the first round of the NFL draft, and so that's what we're going to be discussing. Welcome, wide receiver out of Florida, Ricky Pearsall. Welcome to the Bay. Welcome to the faithful. Welcome to the red and gold. We've got Tim Tebow here to represent the Gators, you know, where Ricky came from. Pretty fun pick. Definitely out of the blue, and it just goes to show how much we don't know about Mr. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, despite the rumors, despite the team needs. We never know who they're going to pick when they send in that paper. This time it would be Ricky Pearsall, who, I don't want to sound disrespectful here, right? I definitely think that he wasn't the best player on the board available, and he would have been available later on in the draft, in that second round. I just feel like the Niners are so keen on getting their guy versus getting the best player available, right? There was guys, Cooper DeJean on the board, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jackson Powers Johnson. There was some other good O-linemen, some other good corners, and better even receivers, you could argue. There was A.D. Mitchell on the board. There was Xavier Legette right there, who the Panthers traded up at 32 to go and get. Very interesting approach. But again, I trust Kyle Shanahan, I trust John Lynch. They saw something that a bunch of other people didn't see. At least 30 other teams didn't see. Otherwise, Pearsall would have been a first round pick. The Kansas City Chiefs traded up to, 28 with the Buffalo Bills to pick up Xavier Worthy. And I feel like that he might have been the pick. I really do. I feel like the Niners wanted Xavier Worthy. They wanted that speed. They wanted somebody quick to take the top off of defenses. Because Pearsall kind of fits that same description. Of course, he's not fastest 40-yard dash time. But he's a guy that quick feet, flexible hips. He gets in and out of routes really, really quick. Very agile. Quick as a cat. And I think that he's going to be a perfect fit for this offense. I just feel like it was a little bit of a reach of a pick. I feel like you could have got one of those guys, the cornerbacks, the offensive guard, or the center, Jackson Powers, and then traded up in the mid-second, to pick up Ricky Pearsall. And that's an A-plus draft, in my opinion. But regardless, I'm not going to be too upset about the pick because receiver was a position of need, no doubt. I feel like cornerback and O-line maybe a little bit bigger. Oh, Johnny Newen was still on the board too, defensive tackle. D-line was also a pretty big need as well. But we went with the receiver because, like I've said previously, Jennings, Ayuk, those guys are on one-year contracts. Their contracts are expiring. Deebo Samuel can't really rely on to play full season. So you need some guys there to boost up just the entire receiver group. And Pearsall is fun. He's fun. He's electric. You're watching his highlights, or you watch the film, and yeah, just the way he gets in and out of his routes, the way he's able to move, his footwork is top tier. I mean, I'm a big fan of this guy. I like the player, maybe not the position that he was drafted in, however. So there is some red flags, I guess, that people were talking about, that he can't separate and press man. But we got the numbers up. Let's put it on the screen. Found us on Twitter. So his success rate versus man coverage, 75.8%, versus zone coverage, 82.2%, and versus press coverage, 67.7%. So yes, it's the lowest amongst them, but it's not bad at all. It's not bad. So don't know where that whole narrative comes from. What else? So from John Chapman, gotta give the shout out to my guy there. Why the 49ers like Ricky Pearsall. I can put it up on the screen as well. So elite 3-code and change of directions. Like we said, he's agile, gets in and out of his routes really quickly, can stop on a dime. He had a great Senior Bowl, which ironically was, I guess, the only time the Niners talked to Ricky. So he didn't even expect to be called at 31. I don't think anybody expected it except for Kyle and John, of course. academic senior honor roll. Never missed a game in 5 years. Availability is the best ability. Positional versatility, coach's kid, returner upside. That's also a big reason why I wanted Cooper DeJean, because we need a guy to be a reliable kick returner, punt returner. So Pearsall could potentially be there as well. Led the SC in yards per reception, played for Edwards, and lastly, remind Kyle of himself, of Kyle Shanahan, when Kyle Shanahan was a receiver, of course. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there about Ricky Pearsall. Do I still wish that we would have taken Kool-Aid, Johnny Newton, Mitchell, one of the old tackles there, Jackson Powers Johnson, DeJean, all these guys? Do I wish we'd taken them? Maybe a little bit still. Maybe a little bit. But I still would have wanted Ricky Pearsall in the draft, period. So I'm not trying to disrespect Pearsall. I think, again, he's a great player. Got all the potential in the world to really thrive in this system. I just feel like he could have been a second-round player, in my opinion. But I'm glad that he gets himself a little bit more money. We see CJ Stroud's reaction. He was in pain. He was in agony seeing Ricky Pearsall go to the 49ers, which, you know, they got D'Amico Ryans there, Shanahan tree somewhat. Let's dive into his games a little bit, Pearsall. So his best game, probably against South Carolina. He got 10 receptions, 166 yards, and a touchdown. Throughout the entire 2023 season, he got 65 receptions, 965 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's also got some rushing upside. He carried the ball 3 times for 62 yards, 2 touchdowns coming on the ground. So we're going to be able to see some end-around stuff. The Florida was doing it with him. They were doing some of the end-around stuff. He was a guy in motion a lot. A little bit of a smaller build. He's 6'1". I'll have his RAS score up here. 6'1", 190 pounds. So definitely a little bit light, but he'll still block. He'll get out there. He'll put his body in the way, which obviously is an important factor being a 49ers receiver. So I've got his combine RAS, 49ers. I don't really know. There's like 3 RAS scores. RAS is the relative athletic score. So I don't know which one is the best one. I guess I'll go with the one in Florida because it has everything filled in. So his height, 6.38, bad weight, as you see there in red. And then his bench press, everything else is in green. Everything else is elite speed grade, elite agility, elite explosiveness, just okay size. Overall RAS grade being a 9.91 out of 10. So really good. You got to give it to him for being athletic. You got to give it to him for the agility there that I've been raving on. But yeah, he could definitely work on his catch and traffic skills. But again, just being a lighter receiver, that's kind of bound to happen. And frankly, we're not really going to have to worry about him catching in traffic because he's going to be open all the time. So that's going to be exciting. Bang. I mean, what else can I say about this guy? He's got the quickness. He's got the toughness. He's got the grit. He's got the motor. I think he's just going to be a workhorse. He's just going to come in, put his head down and grind. And we're going to see some great things. A guy that can really take the top off of defenses. Like I said it before. Boom, little stop and go. Corner is going to be slipping. And him and hopefully Brandon Ayuk on the other side of each other. It's going to be electric. Pearsall will probably play more a little bit in the slot position in the NFL, which I think he'll thrive well in again with the 49ers. They haven't really had a true slot. Jawan Jennings was kind of the slot guy, and he's a little bit of a bigger guy who I think could actually be really, really good on the outside. Deebo Samuel might be on the way out. Brandon Ayuk might be on the way out. We don't know who's going to be on the team here tomorrow. As you're watching this, hopefully here on Friday, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo might have already been gone. They might have been shipped out for a second-round pick. And the Niners could have got one of the corners, or Jackson Powers Johnson, like the guys I've been raving about. And so it could be totally disregarded. I do think that Pearsall and Ayuk would work a lot better than Pearsall and Deebo. I'll just put it out there. Also, important note, Brandon Ayuk and Pearsall played together at ASU for, I believe it was 1 year. So that's kind of interesting. Ayuk also texted John Lynch after the pick saying, quote, fire pick, not gonna lie, or can't lie, something like that. So Ayuk definitely liking this pick. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the 49ers receiver room, with this 49ers team in general. Of course, there's still the second round, the third round, the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh rounds in the NFL draft. So I'll probably cover Pearsall today. Maybe we'll do a second rounder video tomorrow, depending on what happens, if Debo gets traded, this and that, if it's crazy. And then I'll do a recap of the entire 49ers draft. That's going to wrap this one up, folks. Just wanted to talk and introduce Mr. Ricky Pearsall to the Bay, to the 49ers. I'm excited. I think it's going to be really, really fun. Going into next season, it seems like Shanahan is taking a little bit of a different approach. Still with all the motions, still with all this gadgety type stuff, but maybe a little bit more of a vertical downfield offense with Brock Purdy, with a quarterback he can trust. Maybe we see a little bit more of a pass-heavy 49ers. McCaffrey can catch the ball too. So it's going to be really interesting to see the shift in the direction of this team in the just next year. Very excited to see the next picks in the second round here, in the third round, and it's going to be fun. And yeah, I'll see y'all then. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Gold Rush. A little quick episode, but I wanted to get it out real quick. I will see y'all maybe tomorrow, maybe the end of the draft. Regardless, I'll be here one of those times. Also, check out Run Among Sports, where I'm going to be discussing the entire first round very, very soon. That'll be in the description below. Alrighty, folks, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out the link in the description. I'll have the Run Among Sports there. I'll have the Gold Rush down there as well. Yes, I'm your host, James Takar. Peace out, faithful.